around there by making the jobs meaningful, by giving the individual worker a lot of discretion. And management resists it a little bit. Management thinks, well, hell, I went to college. I am smarter than these dumb guys on the shop floor. Why do I have to listen to them? You have to get their trust. The American worker, and this goes right up through management ranks, doesn't really tell you what he thinks until he is sure that you want to know. The one thing you can say about the American people is that they have a gift for spotting a phony, and don't try to con them at any time. You just have to be yourself, and whatever you are, they will discover that, good or bad. Business is not a balance sheet or machinery or factories. Business is a collection of human beings who can accomplish more working together than any one of them could separately.
Irwin Miller's profound respect for the integrity of the individual translated directly into his interest in the environment in which individuals both work and live.
When this town emerged from World War II, it had doubled in size and no schools had been built. Classrooms were going to be twice as big as they ought to be. And the first two schools that they built were prefab schools, terrible places, since torn down. For the next one, we thought we ought to try to encourage the school board to do something better, and we did on one school.
And thus was born the Cummins Foundation and a commitment to enabling world-class architecture that over the years has established Columbus as an architectural jewel of the Midwest, dramatically changing both the fabric and character of the community.
Any great building should be speaking to the people that work in it and move around it at all times. Let's go back to the old buildings of Oxford and Cambridge and in Germany or Italy. You have to say they were well built or no one would have tolerated them for 300-400 years. They put out a message that the human race has been here a long time and that several generations have built way out into the future, and that you have some responsibility to do that. If you build copies of them today, that says that you have no creative ideas of your own. A real lesson from your ancestors is to be as farsighted and as big a risk taker in your day as they were in their day. That is, these aren't Gothic buildings, these aren't Renaissance buildings, these aren't classical buildings. These are buildings more in that they are apt to say to a young person not familiar with it, that here comes the 21st century. And you ought to think about it.
In 1960, Irwin Miller accepted a leadership role that took him far beyond both his community and his company. He was elected as the first lay president of the National Council of Churches, an organization representing 33 Christian denominations and 40 million Americans.
The need for religion is the need that's in all of us to keep asking ultimate questions. Why am I like I am? Why is there any life at all? Why is a thing beautiful?
Once again, Irwin Miller's questioning nature led him to unique insights. And in 1963, as president of the National Council of Churches, he helped organize the original March on Washington and mobilized church groups to register African American voters in the South. In turbulent times, it was an unconventional, activist style of leadership that took the churches and Irwin Miller further into the realm of social issues than ever before. Meanwhile, in Columbus, Cummins became one of the first American corporations to adopt non-discriminatory employment practices, and Irwin Miller actively recruited approximately 100 black managers and trainees to Cummins between 1965 and 1973.